topic is about the month of Ramadan and about the practice of the Muslims. Today, the Muslims, they celebrate what they call today Eid al-Fitr. But is it really Eid al-Fitr? Because Eid al-Fitr, the word Fitr mean, it is about a break fasting. This is the website, official government website of the government of Dubai. This is not my website. So what the city of Dubai announced, the day of a slaughter. If the Muslims, they break fasting, why they slaughter hundreds of thousands of animals in this day? The fact what is behind this slaughter day is the roots of a pagan religion. And today we are going to show you what is the roots of Ramadan. You see, most of Muslims, they are ignorant. If you ask a Muslim, when you fast, he said to you, the Quran says in the month of Ramadan. Well, did the Quran even mention the word month? We will show you a lot of reference coming from the Quran. What we will prove today is very simple. That Ramadan is a pagan practice Muhammad he copied from others. Muhammad he copied fasting from anyone around him because he was desperate trying to make a religion. If we go and search in the books of hadith, in the beginning Muhammad he used to fast 3 days every month. Then this guy he changed it. If you read the hadith with me, you will find that according to the Muslim source, Muhammad he used to fast other fasting than Ramadan. It's called Ashura. Now what is Ashura exactly, and why Muhammad is fasting Ashura? According to them, remember, not to me. Muhammad once he woke and he saw the Jews practicing fasting. So he said to the Jews, why you fast? They said, oh, we fast because for this is the day of Moses. Then Muhammad he said to them, well, this is a day, if this is a day for Moses, then we will practice this day and you don't deserve it. So Muhammad start fasting this day. This will be funny and we will laugh about it. You will see here with me in the screen that Muhammad, even the fasting day, which is supposedly he is copying from the Jews, he attached it to seeing the Hilal, which means the crescent moon. If you look with me here in the screen, you will find the following. I met up with Ibn Abbas while he was reclining his etc. in Zamzam, and I said, I said to him, inform me about the day of Ashura. On which day is it fasted? He said, when you see the crescent moon of Muharram, then count, then fast on the morning of the 9th day. All right. So when you see the crescent moon of Muharram, you start fasting in the 9th day. Why Muhammad is fasting Ashura? And what is Ashura? If we search more in the hadith, we will find a disaster. And it's going to show you how much the Muslims are confused. If you read with me here in the hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, it says the following. Ashura, i.e. the 10th of Muharram, was a day in which the tribe of Quraysh used to fast. Now the story in the Muslim books changed. It's not really about the Jews. Ashura is not for the Jews. Ashura is for the pagans, Arab, Quraysh, and all of us, we know Muhammad, he have a war with them. Why? Because they are pagan. Now why Muhammad is fasting Ashura, the fasting of pagan? I challenge any Muslim to tell me. This is number one. Number two, if Muhammad he took the fasting of Ashura from the Jews, I challenge any Muslim to show me any fasting in the Jewish books. It's called the fasting of Ashura. They don't have such a thing. The Jews, they have a fasting, it's called the Day of Forgiving, but this has nothing to do with this. According to Muhammad's story, In the book of Sunan Ibn Dawood, and this is a Sahih hadith, when the Prophet saw, which means chicken, he came to the Medina, which means the city of Yathrib, the city of the Jews. He found the Jews observing the fast on a day of Ashura. Okay, so they were asked about it. This is mean Muhammad, he never saw this before. By who? By the Prophet. They said, this is the day in which Allah gave Moses domination over Pharaoh. We fast on it, you know, like to thank God for this day. So what the messenger, he said, we have a closer connection to Moses than you. Then he gave orders that it should be observed. Now here you need to ask yourself a question, and this is a very serious question. Is fasting an order from a man, or fasting is an order from God? Which means when the Muslims observe any kind of religious practice, is it coming from God, or it's coming from the man Muhammad? Why Muhammad is copy-paste from the Jews? What if the Jews is making fun of him? What if they have nothing to do? And actually this is nothing to do with Musa's day. This is a lie. So the Jews obviously making fun of him. So how Muhammad, he's a prophet of God, he ordered his followers to practice a fasting without asking for permission from his God? What about you pray to your God and Allah will inspire you, say, hey, yes Muhammad, do it or don't do it. If the Jews are corrupt and the Jews will go to hell, and the Jews are bad, and the Jews are ugly, and the Jews are pigs and monkeys, how Muhammad he take from the pigs and the monkeys the first practice of fasting? It's very obvious that Muhammad, he was trying to find any way he can make his people look like a religion. How we can make ourselves a religion? We don't have a fasting, we don't have a way to pray, we don't have anything. So we have to find a way. So he started copying from people who they are around him. And then you will find that Muhammad, even he said that the one who fasts the month of Ramadan is the same as if you like your sin will be forgiven for the coming year. You believe it? This is the fasting of Arafah. Huh? I will show you in Ashura too. Fasting on the day of Arafah, I hope from Allah expect sins for the year before and the year after. And he said the same exactly about the day of Ashura. So how this day is going to forgive your your past sin and your coming sin? What is the power of this day? How this happened? How a day like this? What is the importance of this day? Read with me here, please. This is Sahih Muslim. Look what Muhammad used to do. The Prophet Sawsaw said, fasting 3 days every month. See, he ordered his followers fasting 3 days. But how this happened? If you read the story from the beginning, you will see that Muhammad was trying to find the practice of fasting to establish something in his religion. They have a conversation about the fasting and discussion. And then you will see the Prophet, he said, that is the fast of David, peace upon him. So Muhammad is so obsessed with the Jews, trying to make himself finding a fasting. David himself, he fast. So now Muhammad, he tried to make a fasting for himself. So he said, what about him who fasts 1 day and doesn't fast the other 2 days? Then the messenger, he said, I wish I were given the strength to do what? To do that. Therefore, Sawsaw, he said, which means Muhammad, fasting 3 days every month, and that of Ramadan every year. Hold on. First, he have the fasting of Ashura, Then he tried to copy the Jews, which is supposedly a fasting of David, but this is not the fasting of David. There's no such a thing. It's not about fasting of David. This is about the prophet Daniel, where he was in the belly of the whale or the fish, and this is the fasting of prophet Daniel. So Muhammad, he is copying from people around him and giving false information to his followers, and now he is ordering them to practice 3 days every month. And then he jumped to Ramadan. Now what is Ramadan then? Where Ramadan coming from? The one who fast the day of Ashura, Allah is going to forgive the year before and the year after. In different hadith it says a day before and day after and a year after. So how important this day is, the day of Ashura, must be very important. And how Muhammad, he learned that this day, if you fast it, Allah will forgive the year before sin. You know what I mean? He just asked the Jews, why you fast this day? He have no idea. He never heard about this fasting before. So he come to the conclusion, he's a prophet, he's connected to Allah, he have a phone line, he can call Allah anytime, but Allah did not even say to him anything about this fasting. So he come to his own statement that if you fast this day, Allah will forgive your sin for the coming, or for the past year at least. Now imagine a day, if we fast it, it's enough to forgive our sin for the past and the coming year. Why Muhammad, he did abandon this day? Why Muhammad don't want to fast this day no more? Because Yawm Ashura, it's not an obligation for the Muslims to fast no more. You will see in the hadith it says that Muhammad, he abandoned the fasting of Ashura and he start fasting Ramadan, and this is why he don't want to fast Ashura no more. In this hadith here, you will see what happened when he saw the Jews, and he copied from the Jews that, you know what, we are more, we deserve Musas more than you, and I'm going to start fasting the day of Ashura. However, I found this a clear evidence that Muhammad is taking and copying from the Sabians, not from the Jews. Because the Sabians, they are the one who celebrate in a sad way. They fast, they cry, to the point they call Adonai, which is supposedly the God of the Jews, he is the devil. So the Sabians, they believe that Pharaoh, he was one of them, and he was a Sabian. So when he followed Moses and Pharaoh and his army was destroyed in the sea, Sabians, they fast that day of sadness for the lost. So Muhammad is copying that day from the Sabian, and we are going to prove to you that he copied this day from the Sabian, and he copied Ramadan from the Sabian. Before we go there, let us see first who are they, the Sabian. You will notice the Quran in many verses mention the Sabians in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there is no need really to mention them. Who are the Sabian? And the surprise is Muhammad, he promised the Sabian to go to heaven. But if you ask any Muslim, he will say to you that the Sabians are not believing in the same God of the Muslims. However, both of them, they are pagans. They worship false gods. They worship, a part of them worship the angels or creatures made of light, and the other one, they worship gods have nothing to do with the God of Islam. So why Muhammad, he promised the Sabian to go to heaven? If you go to chapter 2 verse number 62, you will find the following. Remember again, I'm not translating the Quran. I am just reading for you the translation made by Muslims, which I don't accept at all. Don't ever trust a Muslim translation. Actually, today I'm going to show you one of the reasons. Look what the Quran says. Those who believe in the Quran, which mean the Muslims, okay, and those who they are the Jewish, and those who they are the Christians, okay, sound fine, and the Sabian, and whoever believe in Allah in the last days and work righteousness, he will go to heaven. Question: why the Sabians are here? I challenge any Muslim to tell me why. We will show you from Islamic books, Islamic reference, Islamic studies, Islamic scholars that the Sabians are not Muslims. And they are not believing in the same God of the Muslims, according to them. So why the Sabian they will go to heaven? The fact the God of the Sabian and the God of the Muslims is the same. All of them, they worship the moon god. If we go and see different verses in the Quran, chapter 5 verse number 69, it says the same. Those who they are the Christians, the Jews, and the Sabians, they are going to go to heaven. Again, why the Sabians? Nobody knows. The only reason that Muhammad is promising the Sabians to go to heaven, for he was a Sabian. There's tons of references speaking about Muhammad being a Sabian. The Prophet mentioned their idolaters are gods, so they said to him, they said, the name of your Lord lineage for us. Tell us who is your Lord. He said, so Jibreel, peace upon him, came to him with the surah. Say he is Allah, the one of. So he mentioned similarity, but he did not say it, from Ubay ibn Abi Ka'b. Now Ubay ibn Abi Ka'b, he have a story later we will mention by itself. But here in Arabic you will see that the one who is mentioning the hadith is a person who was from the Sabi'ah. But in Arabic, in English, they don't show that. So the Sabi'ah are exist around Muhammad, and they are accompanying him, and they are his companions. This person, he was freed by a woman, his owner, she was a Sabian. It doesn't say there that he is a Sabian. He was freed by a Sabian woman. But why he was freed? Because the Sabian, when somebody converted the religion, they free him. Let us continue. In this hadith here, you will find the following story. So when they went search for water, they met a woman who was sitting with her camel between two bags of water. They asked, where we can find water? She replied, I was there, which means pointing her finger. I was there at the place of water this hour yesterday, and my people were behind me. She's a Bedouin woman, you know, they don't stay in one place. Then requested her to accompany them. So she asked, where? Accompany where were you there? They said, to Allah Messenger. She said, do you mean the man who is called the Sabi? They replied, yes. Do you see it? Is it clear? You see, the Muslims did not deny that Muhammad is a Sabian. The woman, she is asking, okay, who is your prophet? Is that the one who is called the Sabi? They said yes. The Muslim, they will say to you, oh, at that time, people who they are called Sabi is people who leave religion. That's false. Sabi is a name of religion already. And that explains why Muhammad was promising the Sabian to go to heaven, for he was a Sabi. Now what the Sabians do? The Sabians, they fast Ramadan, and they pray 5 times a day, and they cry in the day of Ashura, which supposedly now is a practice by the Shia more than the Sunni. But the Shia, they say they cry not because of what the Sabian believe, but because Al-Hussein was killed in that day. But the reference in front of us is so clear that Muhammad is no question is a Sabian. Otherwise, the Muslims here, the companion of Muhammad, they should say to her, he is not a Sabi, he is a prophet of Allah, of Islam. Right? Why did it not say to her, no, he is not the one you are talking about? And why I'm accusing them to be Sabian? The Sabian, they fast by the moon, and they do everything is practice they have is by the moon. They fast for 30 days, and then they move from town to town because they are waiting for the new moon. Now, do the Muslims fast Ramadan by the moon? Let us say. Actually, all of you, you know.